Okay, so I think we have to go to our friend Mr. Mohammed Amin Al-Mtalsi, our moderator. So, Mohammed, the floor is yours. Okay, enjoy.
Hi. So, hello everybody, and welcome to the High Up Academy EliteCom. Our guest today will be Mr. and Mrs. Malak Bellajdel, who will join us from San Francisco.
And it's always great to see people from Berkane. I miss home a lot, so it's great to be here. So yeah, like as Mohammed said, I am Malak Bellajdel from Berkane too. I graduated back in 2013. Started my architecture career in France, in Paris. Wasn't a very great experience, to be honest. Somehow the destiny happened and I ended up in San Francisco where my brother lives. And I've been here ever since. So yeah, I've been here almost for 7 years or 8 years. I'm almost an American person by now. I think it's been a long time now that I'm
here. I think right now we'll be moving to the next part of our discussion today. And it's going to be some questions, guys, if you have. If you want to ask her about, what is studying the United States, what is it? What does it look like? What are the qualities needed and stuff? So if you have a question related to this subject, please raise your hands and you'll be given the opportunity to speak. All right, so we'll start with Mr. Muad Sinan.
So thank you for joining us today. So I just want to ask you, so what are the qualities and qualifications that students should have to study in the US?
That's a good question. You have to, so I think something that I really support teacher Khalid for doing, and I've been a huge fan since I was very little. I knew Mr. Khalid back when I was 6 years old. That's how we go way, way back. And he always emphasized the idea of community and volunteering and going the extra mile of just having good grades. The US, you can be a brilliant student. Like you can get straight A's in all your classes, but if you don't have that extra curriculum part of it, then you're not very a great candidate for them. So you have to, of course, you have to get good grades. Don't get me wrong. You have to do your homework. You have to be a good student, but you have to show them that there's more to that. You're not just like a nerd studying. Like, do you have any other skills outside of school? Do you volunteer? What are other experiences? Do you travel? Do you help the needy people? Do you play sports? Oh, sports is a huge thing in the US. If you are good in anything, soccer, basketball, anything, then you might be able to get a scholarship, like a 100% scholarship, or they just want to see more than just good grades. They want to see you as a whole person, a holistic view. Like, how are you going to contribute again to the community? So I think that's very important. And I follow you guys on Instagram. I saw you were planting some trees not long ago. You were doing a lot of activities. So keep doing that, because that will be very helpful here when you come to the US.
Yeah, thank you.
And of course, English. You guys, your English is so good. It's great. Like all the questions, I am very impressed, guys. Like, really good job.
Thank you. I think we'll have Mr. Hamzabka right now. So the floor is yours, my friend.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amin. I just had a question, we know that there is a lot of architecture programs, like from Asian to modern and stuff. Was it hard to choose yours? And what is the piece of advice that you can give to choose the right choice that will probably mold your future?
Yeah. Architecture. I don't know. So I don't know if I understand your question very well, but when you study architecture, you don't necessarily pick what type of architecture. You study everything. You study history of architecture. You study how to design, how to come up with a concept. So it's not very specific to one type. But then after you graduate, then you can decide what kind of choice or what kind of style you like. And I don't know if you guys saw my website. I do a lot of modern designs, and it's just something that I like to design. It's something that like I find it very functional and I find it very aesthetically pleasing. So that's what I do. In terms of how to make the right choice for what kind of major or field you gotta go into, I think it's very important to do something that you're passionate about. And I know it sounds cheesy and like you heard this a million times, but I really mean it because things are gonna get really tough. You're gonna have to put in a lot of work, a lot of hours, and a lot of late nights. And if you're not passionate about something, you're gonna quit right away. You're gonna be like, okay, I cannot do this. I just can't take it. But if you're passionate about something, then it will be easier to put in that hard work. It will be easier to push through even when things get hard, and you will excel in that. You will be a really, really good architect, engineer, doctor, whatever, lawyer. So yeah, again, if you're not passionate about something, if you do not like the thing you're studying, then the likelihood of you being good at it or being that 1%, it's very slim. So and it's okay, make a list. If you are interested in gaming, if you're interested in movie or whatever that is, make a list and just put, okay, do I like it? Are there a lot of job opportunities? Is it something that's trending or something that's going away? Like, are there going to be more jobs for that? How much money am I going to make? Where are the places where I can work? And then, just like start like, okay, I like this. This does not make a lot of money. So maybe it's not going to be so good. And watch a lot of YouTube. Just look it up. There are so many people talking about a day in the life of an architect, a day in the life of a teacher, a day in the life of anything. And then just be like, so do I want to be like that person? Do I see myself doing that? And then test it out, give it a week. Be like, okay, so what does it take to be an engineer? Let me see. Oh, that looks really hard. I don't think I can do it. I don't like physics, for example. So don't push yourself. It's not because society is telling you a certain job is better than other, or your parents are forcing you, like, listen to your parents. But if you're like, feel like you're forced to do something, then yeah, just talk to them and be like, these are my reasons. This is why I think I'm not a good fit for this major. And just try to convince them and then see how it goes. It's really hard because you're young and you don't know a lot of things, but this one decision can really change everything. So it's a lot of pressure on you, and it's okay to switch majors. You can do something for 1 year, like graduate from high school, go do it for 1 year. If you don't like it, it's okay. You're still young. You can switch majors. Don't just be like, no, this is fine. This is what I'm going to do. People are going to say that I'm not good. And if I switch majors, they're going to judge me. It's okay. People forget. Just do what you want to do, because you are the one who's going to end up with that choice for the rest of your life. So I really, really hope that helps. And if any of you guys want to study architecture, feel free to reach out. Mr. Khalid has my email. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hamza, for your question, and thank you, Mrs. Malak, for your advice. I think now we'll be moving on to Mrs. Hala Momna.
Yes, thank you. So concerning the high cost of living in San Francisco and America in general, like, do we have the opportunity to continue our studies there with the kind of education grant, for example?
Yeah, it's definitely possible to have that. It's a little bit competitive, but I don't think it's out of reach. Again, make sure your grades are good. Make sure you have the extra thing that I mentioned earlier about volunteering, etc. Anything that can help you stand out from the crowd, because they receive so many applications. So what really makes you different? And I think the good thing about Morocco is it's very rare for an American university to get somebody from Morocco. And Americans, they really appreciate diversity. They really appreciate having people from different types of, like, different races, different ethnicities. So that can really be to your advantage. Use it. Like, you can bring a different perspective, and they would love that, because they don't want to just have a bunch of white people from, I don't know, Idaho. You come in, it's like exotic, it's new. So use that to your advantage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think right now we'll be moving on to Mrs. Hajar bin Abad.
Yeah, thank you so much. So first, I just want to thank Mrs. Malak Bellajdel for her for coming here tonight and giving us the opportunity to know more about California and stuff. My question is like when you were studying and also now, did the Americans show racism because of your culture and your religion? I mean, did they show any racism because of that? Thank you.
Oh, that's a good question, because I love to talk about California because it's so open-minded. Again, I'm speaking for California. I'm not speaking for other states. I heard horror stories about people in like Texas and other states, but in California, and specifically in San Francisco, it's very rare to find somebody from San Francisco, because people are from all around the world. So you don't feel like you're alone, and people really appreciate diversity. I never ever heard anybody say anything mean to me about my religion. And everybody knows that I'm Muslim. When I fast during Ramadan, they are very interested in that. They ask questions. They ask me about Morocco, and surprisingly enough, a lot of Americans love Morocco. They love Marrakesh. They love to ride the camel. They think that they all ride camels, and they love that different culture. Again, it's like they're really interested in you. And I mentioned earlier about my experience in France, and that's where I expected racism. Like I really experienced it hardcore. And it's weird because you think there are a lot of Moroccans in France, and they're used to that. But there's just something that, like, French people, I'm not speaking for all the French people, but for the people that I met, I really experienced that, and I did feel out of place. I did feel like they looked down at me because I was Moroccan, which is very sad. But in the US, if you're good, if you're a hardworking person, if you're just a decent human being, they will respect you, and they respect that no matter where you come from. And that's what it's so good about the US, because they don't judge you based on your background or your ethnicity or your race or religion. If you're good to them, they're good to you, period. And yeah, to answer your question, I never experienced that, luckily. And
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.